This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to ngscsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
There you go. Oh man, should we just get to it?
Sure.
Why not?
I'm on a high.
There you go. We're all high here. On a high, excuse me. At the
Gonna make my roll home in a little bit.
There you go. Welcome to episode 240 of the Foreign Fair podcast. I had to double check that for a second.
Damn, we got it there already.
It is a live episode. We're so excited. The end of the Champions League group stage is upon us. We are technically recording this on a Tuesday.
Part that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Myself, Edward Green, and McCullen Crime, Wes Bradshaw will be dissecting the first half of group stage games, and I believe our plan is to do a recorded sesh tomorrow night of just whatever happens.
Right.
Not that there's a ton. So long to one name producer Jackie for the night. If you have anything to say, say it now.
Is it girls' night?
No, I wish.
Oh,
There you go.
That would have been so much more fun.
I could go for a wine spritzer myself. So.
There you go.
Maybe I'll bring some back.
Thank you. One name producer
Get a
Jackie.
to-go glass.
Always coming through in the clutch. So we have that. We'll be doing a quick run through of the Premier League from this past weekend. We have a few stories to hit, news and notes, and then watch for and so raw. As always, we are presented by NGSC Sports and NGSCsports.com. We never stop, as well as Alicia's Pillows and Things, because damn it, we are only 2 weeks from Christmas.
Close enough.
So yeah, almost.
And I think
Actually,
that's
2 weeks from
Wednesday.
today.
Happy holiday.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, it's so much better than my Celine Dion.
She can harmonize. That's the best part.
Not that I have a Celine Dion. Never mind.
Never mind. So 2 weeks from today is Christmas. So if you want to, head on over to Facebook.com and do a quick search for Alicia's Pillows and Things. And I'm sure they have some absolutely amazing things on there right now. In fact, I'm actually going there right now to tell you what's up there right now as we check out the Facebook page. Oh, look at that. That's Indianapolis Colts thing right there. He got some
Is that American football?
Yes, it is American. Look at that New England Patriots auto,
Let's
man.
go ahead and get them now. In 30 years, they're going to be collector's items.
There you go.
NFL,
Hey, there's a Celtics pillow. That's the Pokemans for the kids.
Not the right Celtics.
Pokemon, yeah, that's Celtic.
I enjoy my Celtics from Glasgow.
There you go. So get on over and check out all the great deals for Alicia's Pillows and Things.com. No, it's not .com. Anyway, so quick run through the Premier League. I don't know. I don't have a reader for this. Let's go through the matches. I mean, a lot of these are going to be pretty normal. West Ham and Crystal Palace did have an entertaining match. 3-2 victory for West Ham. As they get the victory at Olympic Stadium. Goals from Robert Snodgrass, Chicharito, Javi Hernandez, and Felipe Anderson were the difference there. All those Sao Paulo dogs. Burnley gets a very big win against Brighton and Hove at Turf Moor, 1-0. Jacob Tarkowski with the 40th minute goal there gets the thing there. Oh, that's an interesting text message I'm getting.
So you
Cardiff.
have smallpox?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I'll just jump to conclusions.
Reading books. Cardiff with the 1-0 victory over Southampton at home. So obviously that's a bottom of the table battle right there that Cardiff now has the upper hand in a little bit. Tottenham with a very workmanlike victory over Leicester. Goals from Heung-min Son and Dele Alli in that one. 2-0 was the final. Dele Alli scoring his 50th Premier League goal against the same club he scored his first Premier League goal against in Leicester. Arsenal with the 1-0 victory over Huddersfield. And Lucas Torreira 6-yard bicycle kick in the 83rd minute was the difference there. And once again, Arsenal still doesn't have a lead at halftime.
They've had one all year in Premier League
It's
play.
insane that that's a statistic.
And then just the fact that they've run off as many
Yeah.
positive results.
Still
20,
unbeaten.
22, 23
Yeah.
consecutive positive results.
Including Europa League and League Cup.
Right.
Wolves with a 2-1 win at Newcastle. Matt Doherty. Is it Matt Doherty? Is that his actual first name? Yeah, it is Matt Doherty.
Yeah, former head coach, University of North Carolina.
Exactly.
Was run out of Chapel Hill and ended up in
Wolves
Wolverhampton.
playing a great position for them there
course,
with the 94th minute winner to break Newcastle hearts there on Sunday. And then on Monday, a very entertaining 2-2 draw between Everton and Watford. Another late goal there. Lucas Digne's free kick saving a point for Everton in the 96th minute. Antonio Doucouré with a goal for Watford. In that one, Seamus Coleman, he still exists. He also had an own goal. So that was how Watford initially got level. Then I think as we go back, Manchester United with a 4-1 win over Fulham. The kind of match we've expected from United this entire year.
All it took was the worst team in the league to bring it out of them.
So congrats, United. You guys really put it on there.
They'll have a little change, a little step up in competition for the weekend. So
just a little bit. Liverpool, I believe the club's first hat trick of the year, or am I crazy?
No, I believe it was. We haven't really put up a lot of numbers this year.
That's what I'm thinking. Mo Salah returning to form a little bit. Of course, the biggest goal comes later as we get to the Champions League.
Egyptian King.
Liverpool with the 4-0 victory at Bournemouth. And that was one we did actually think would be a little tricky. Now Bournemouth doesn't totally play a lot of defense usually. And we usually think this, I think you said last week this was a 3-3 draw. We would be looking at.
That's what you're usually staring at when you get someone like a Liverpool and a Bournemouth, because Bournemouth want to get out and play. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for them, that kind of plays right into Liverpool's hands now.
Yeah.
Liverpool is shit. Come play. Not a problem.
Yeah.
We're not scared anymore. It's like, look, me and Callie were watching Home Alone last night. We walked out. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm kind of like, man, that's how I feel as a Liverpool fan.
There you go.
You can play offense against us. I'm not afraid anymore.
Very, very well done by Liverpool for the 4-0 victory there. And then obviously the big result of the weekend, maybe the only one that didn't quote-unquote go to form, was Chelsea beating Man City 2-0. And as I texted you, Wes, I still stand behind everything we said about Chelsea last week. Yeah. Totally, this doesn't change any of that. Manchester City's unbeaten run in the Premier League comes to an end.
Their first loss, I believe, since March or April in the Premier League.
Yes, in the Premier League. They have lost once in the Champions League so far this season. Drew also against Lyon, should have lost that match. But Chelsea, from goals from the most likely of sources in N'Golo Kante and Sideshow Bob Luiz, one each half, gives Chelsea a huge win against City in that race for third place and trying to get that top four spot locked in here. And Wes, I think, it's hard to say, anything bad about City, really. You texted me, and I think this about sums it up. We all know at some point, we knew some point City was going to lose. Yeah. We know at some point Liverpool's going to lose in the league, maybe. I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I believe, damn it, I believe.
There you go. But so I guess it's not surprising that, losing to another big club on the road isn't the craziest thing in the world. And I don't think it says a lot about Chelsea that, they basically just did what Leicester kind of did a few years ago, and they sat back, sat really deep, and spraying a counter when they could. And it's something that, that is the way to play against City. But it's not something that a lot of teams in the Premier League can replicate, because not everybody has that kind of attacking pressure that Chelsea can have and just the absolute talent. Obviously, you're not always expecting to see goals from Conte and David Luiz, but, when you have a guy like Eden Hazard up top, when you have other kind of playmakers that Chelsea do have when they show up on the day, this is the kind of thing Chelsea can do against a City team that, a Wolves or a Bournemouth or, not that Bournemouth would do it necessarily, but teams in the mid-table, they can still sit back against City, but they don't really have the kind of firepower to turn a quick counter like a Chelsea or like a Liverpool certainly can this year, or even maybe a team like Tottenham might be able to do against them. So this is not a crazy, oh God, City is falling apart result, because I thought for a lot of it City was actually better than Chelsea.
Especially that first half.
Yeah.
I mean, they got caught on a really good counterattack. And, and also City, if you go back and watch that match, City were wasteful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what you have to do. We talk about in football, in American football, how do you beat really good teams? You got to play defense. B, get some turnovers.
Absolutely.
C, get your special teams.
Yes.
And that's kind of what Chelsea did. They played good defensively. You can call those counters the turnovers, and then come up with a special teams play. Well, that's that crazy David Luiz header that goes in that was just perfect. So, I mean, they had all the recipes for an upset that day. But also, when you pull an upset, most of the time, here's the thing, for somebody like City, if City are playing at their best, highly, highly unlikely you're not going to beat them. So you need to catch them on a day where they're not playing their best. And Kepa came up with some really nice saves in that match as well, and that helped him out a lot. But, the thing for Chelsea, I believe, is I think Chelsea definitely have the players and the firepower that on any day they can beat anyone in the Premier League.
Certainly.
I just don't think they've got enough pieces in place, depth-wise, especially up top, where they're just going to do it week in and week out. Sure. Where Liverpool and City seem to be the only two that kind of have that recipe this year to be able to run this marathon. Agreed.
And I think Chelsea certainly do have the firepower, and I think this was a very much needed result, because we also talked a lot about last week the fact that Chelsea does have that mixture we've seen in past years where they can just implode on themselves.
Right.
And a win like this does stop what had been a little bit of a slide, going back to the loss against Bournemouth, against Tottenham. So having this be a huge win for them does really kind of stabilize that a little bit.
Well, and really, too, when you go against the top teams in the league, right now, if you're, let's just say, a Tottenham, a Chelsea, an Arsenal, when you go head up with City or Liverpool, hey, you come out with a draw.
Yeah.
Great job. We've done what we need to do. We got our draw. They're not pulling away. We're not falling back. But when you can go and take all 3 points off of one of those top teams, now you've really done something. You put some pressure on other teams. And for Chelsea, it's put them kind of right back into third place. And third, fourth, and fifth are so razor thin right now.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still it's a little nicer to be in third than fourth, because at least then you can look with a little relief and say, well, there's a buffer between us. Hey, they've got to get past both Tottenham and us to jump us. Where if you're Tottenham, you're sitting there, you're like, we're in fourth. Oh, wobble. Shit, don't wobble. Because we have no room for a wobble right now. But for Chelsea, I mean, it was a big win on a big day. And like you said, it does keep them in that, it seems like there's a race for 1-2, and then there's a race for 3-4.
Certainly.
And 3-4 is going to be maybe just as intensely watched a race as that 1-2 are, because a good team is going to be left out. That's the thing. Now, of course, unless one of those two win Europa and go with it. So, but one of those three are going to be left out, and it's going to be, that's a fascinating race for just that 3-4 spots.
Absolutely, and so this is definitely a match that can give Chelsea some confidence going forward. As we talked about, they do have a bit of a big match coming up here. Last little thing we'll talk about in this match is something that came out, I believe, yesterday. A leaked part of one of the international broadcasts had Rio Ferdinand going off on Kyle Walker during a break. I don't believe it was it was not an intentionally aired portion. It was during a commercial break. This got leaked onto the international broadcast. Rio Ferdinand, of course, ex-Manchester United player, basically calling out Kyle Walker, saying he's lost his pace for this year. He's become a liability for Manchester City. As much of a liability as City can have, I believe. I know, obviously, you watched him, I'm sure, very closely when they played against Liverpool, and have seen them off and on this entire season. What is your opinion on Kyle Walker, who is someone who is obviously came in last season during City's monumental campaign in the Premier League, was a big part of maybe how they made that jump to the next level, and now still, again, it's hard to say that after their first loss in the Premier League this season, almost 16 matches in. But have you seen anything from Kyle Walker that makes you think, we know what happens when he plays for England, but when he plays for City, he's still looked really well coming into this season.
Well, the way I see it, and just real quick to touch the Rio Ferdinand thing. Okay, he said it. I don't see it as any kind of a controversy because it's not like he said, you know what, this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
Or, he doesn't try hard, or, he's slagging on his mate's mum.
Yes.
He's not John Terry. Exactly. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Yeah.
But, I think it's a fair analysis. Kyle Walker has seemed a little off the pace as the season's gone on. To me, I think Kyle Walker's suffering a little bit from that World Cup.
Sure.
I think you're still going to see guys that, especially as we get here into December, where everything's just piling right up on top of each other. I think some of those guys, especially who made those deep World Cup runs, which Kyle Walker was one, and Kyle Walker's been healthy this year, so he's been playing a lot. Yeah, I think you're going to have some natural letdown from some guys, and I don't think Kyle Walker has been quite the dynamic force he was last season. Personally, I don't think I would have had one issue whatsoever if Ferdinand had said that on regular television because, and here's my other thing with Rio Ferdinand, while I'm not a fan, obviously he's a United player, but, you've got the guy as one of your expert pundits for a reason.
Yeah.
I think if anyone may know being able to look at a player, it would be someone like Rio Ferdinand, who was a world-class defensive player. He can look at another defensive player and look at him from last season, this season, and be like, you know what, so he's not quite on it like he was. So I have no issue with it. I kind of agree with him. Some of these guys, especially, like we said, the guys who went deeper into the tournament, the French players, the English players, the Croats, and, who beat
Belgium.
Belgium. Yeah, some of those guys, their managers get through this and maybe see if you can get those guys some rest.
Absolutely.
For your run-ins.
Yeah, and especially for Manchester City, a team that, while I'm sure they would love to be the first repeat champions that we've had in quite a while in the Premier League, I also believe that I would hope they have bigger fish to fry this year in the Champions League.
I think if you gave them the choice of one or the other, I think they'd bite your right hand off for Champions League.
Absolutely.
Because that's kind of thing. Where I think if you look on the other side, or you look at the other part of the top of the table, I think if you gave Liverpool the opportunity to win the Champions League or the league, they would bite your hand off to win the league.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
They're just, they're two really good teams, but they just have, I believe they both have a different
They're in
final
different
goal for the
places.
season. They're in different places. Now that said, if City won the league and Liverpool won the Champions League, I don't think either of them. Well, I
think City would be mad.
City would be disappointed.
Yeah.
Liverpool would be like, well, hell, we won Champions League, kick ass.
Yeah.
Next year we're going to win the league.
Yeah.
So it is, for teams who aren't in the race for either, sitting there like, piss, you assholes. I think for someone like a City, it's the most expensive squad ever assembled. You've got the manager, the preeminent manager in world football. That's got to be your goal.
Yeah.
And also, I look at City, and I think really their goal is like, we should win every competition we're in.
Yeah.
Because once again, you've got the coach. You've got the team that you wanted to put together. Why should you accept not winning both the Champions League and the Premier League?
Sure. No, I agree.
You can't say it's because you don't have depth.
Yeah, they absolutely have depth. And that's something we're going to have to look at going forward is how they try to rotate Kyle Walker especially. And obviously he also has England mate John Stones, who's back there in his defensive line with them. Raheem Sterling has been rotated a lot this year. Rosa, of course, having to be with Sergio Aguero injured right now, and I guess for whatever reason, Gabriel Jesus just not really breaking into the starting lineup very much right now for City. Sterling having to play a little bit of a bigger role.
Both teams in this match, neither one started with a recognized out-and-out striker. Wow, that really says a lot for Chelsea, doesn't it?
False nine is back. Josie secretly managing both clubs.
I've done it.
Oh, so as we take a look at the next week of Premier League play, we head into it. Yes,
There's some big ones next week.
Yes, there absolutely is. Starting this Saturday at 7:30, Manchester City looks to get back at it against Everton. That'll be at the Etihad.
And by the way, just to throw, I watched a good portion of that Everton Wolves match.
Sure.
And of course, I watched
Watford.
Watford. That's right. I'm
Yes,
sorry, Everton Watford. And of course, I watched Liverpool Everton. They're not lying, man. This is a different Everton team. They are. I don't know if they can go get City. I'd love for them to go get City.
Yes.
Hey, yeah, Liverpool fans. This past weekend we were waving our little plastic Chelsea flags. Yeah, this weekend we're going to be patting our Everton mates on the back. Hey, boys, go get us one. Go get us one, boys. But I mean, this Everton team, they're still not going to get into the Champions League. They're not that level yet. But this is definitely a team that they are on the up with Marco Silva and some of those players they've been able to bring in.
And you talked a little bit earlier about when you play either a City or Liverpool, you go in and get that draw.
Right.
Even though Everton doesn't maybe have aspirations of top 4, you hate to say it, but maybe they can break into the top 6 or top 7, depending on what ends up going to Europa. And that could be the difference as we look at the table.
Whatever ends up with the HUD.
Yeah. Well, and it could be something that separates you from the Watfords, the Wolves,
Absolutely.
the Bournemouths, the Uniteds even down the line. So getting a draw at the Etihad could be absolutely massive for Everton. At 10 a.m. you get Tottenham versus Burnley, Palace versus Leicester, Watford versus Cardiff, Wolves versus Bournemouth in another.
That's interesting.
That could be a very
That'd be
fun
a fun
match.
match.
Yes, that could be a lot of goals
That's
there.
Fun. Yeah.
Also at 10 a.m. you get Huddersfield versus Newcastle, not maybe as fun. And then at 12:30 you get Fulham versus West Ham. So
I think that could be fun from we're both disasters.
yes,
Even though West Ham
They've got
very
better.
quietly
Yeah.
have gotten themselves
better.
out of disaster talk.
they did it.
And I mean, they're sitting in 10th right now, I believe. So we'll hit that in a moment. But West Ham, and they've done it. You know what happened? We talked about early in the season. If they can just survive until December, and that's exactly what's
We're
happened.
here. We're December.
I mean, the schedule has finally broken. I mean, they played every one of the top 7 teams thus far, I believe. So, and guess what? It's about to rotate, and they'll get to do it again. But still.
But they'll get a quick break. If we just look really quickly at West Ham's schedule right here, they have Fulham, Watford, Southampton, Burnley, Brighton as their next 5.
Before Arsenal, I mean, other than Watford, they're favorites in every one of those matches.
And Watford's at home.
Yeah, Watford's at home, but I mean, you look at those. I mean, Fulham, Southampton, and Burnley. That's basically your bottom 3, outside of Cardiff, and B&H have kind of fallen off their pace. So, there's a chance right now for them to solidify their mid-tableness.
Yeah, make up a lot of points right there for Manuel Pellegrini's men.
Then comes Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
And all hell will break loose.
Hopefully it starts breaking loose at 8:30 with Southampton versus Arsenal. Arsenal putting their unbeaten run to the test at St. Mary's. Also at 8:30 you get Brighton and Hove versus Chelsea at the Amex. And then at 11...
Wes will have to get up from his 2-hour nap before going back to work that night because I can't miss this shit.
Oh, boy. I believe this fixture ended in a draw both times last year?
No, we lost at United
that's right.
and drew at Anfield. Klopp has take it back. I know we got him in Europa. I don't think Klopp has beaten Mourinho yet. That's what I want to say. I think.
Okay. So Liverpool versus United at Anfield at 11 a.m. Liverpool coming off a very big high already from this week. I mean, we're still on that high right now. United, we'll see. We're recording this part on Tuesday night. We don't know yet what United's result will be on Wednesday.
Time for something to fuck up.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't matter because United are already through to the Champions League groups or knockout stage. We already knew that.
And of course, Liverpool could be in the same position that City were in this past weekend, where they will obviously already know the result of City. City could be back in first place by then, so once again you're back in chasing mode. Everything right now is still pointing to that January 3rd showdown at the Etihad between Liverpool and City. So both of them right now, just biggest thing for them is keeping pace with the other one. You know, they both want it to be a point or 2 points by the time they get there, and see who can put their stamp on it.
And that's where they're at right now. Liverpool now back top of the table, 42 points. Man City at 41. Tottenham, there is that gap. Tottenham right now in third place with 36. Chelsea and Arsenal both at 34. Chelsea right now in fourth place on goal differential. And then it's an 8-point gap to sixth place where Manchester United sits. And then it is truly a cluster with United, Everton, Bournemouth, Leicester, Wolves, West Ham, Watford, and Brighton and Hove all within 5 points of each other. And then it's the bottom of your heart, the relegation zone. Cardiff, Newcastle, Palace, and Burnley all just outside of it, while Huddersfield, Southampton, and Fulham are well in it. Huddersfield, 2 points adrift of safety. Southampton and Fulham, 3 each. And still, Tottenham have not found a draw this season.
And just to throw this in there, Liverpool, I said last week, off to their best start in league history.
Yeah.
And we're 1 freaking point off. My God. And that's only because City basically got shocked.
Yes.
So City definitely still the bookie favorites to win the league right now. But, you know, I mean, hey, just got to, you know, as I listened to OPP this morning, I take it frame by frame.
A lot can change. A lot can change coming into that January 3rd matchup. All right, so let's hit the Champions League. We're going to do the first half tonight. Group A, nothing special there.
Did they play today?
They did.
Oh, well, good to know.
Didn't matter. Club Brugge and Atletico played a 0-0 draw. Well done, boys. And then Dortmund beat Monaco 2-0, as just about everyone else has. And Dortmund, with that victory, they do claim the top spot in the group, thanks to a head-to-head goal difference against Atletico. So both of them will be advancing. Borussia Dortmund as the 1 seed, Atletico as the 2. Club Brugge will be the 3rd seed. They'll go to Europa. And Monaco are done.
Holy shit, Group B.
Yeah.
2 groups today. Yes, both of our teams were in it, but that has nothing to do with it. It all came down to the end for both of them.
Yes, the final moments in some instances. Group B, I'm also going to say Group B is the group where maybe only one team really deserved to go through, whereas Group C is the group where 3 teams probably deserve to go through. Oh, what a rough couple groups. But Group B ends in rather dramatic fashion as far as where both matches end in a 1-1 draw could be. First, Barcelona and Tottenham 1-1 draw at the Camp Nou. Osman Dembele with the 7th minute goal to put Barcelona up.
Did you see that goal yet? Holy shit.
Finally living up to his promise.
Holy shit. All it took was get Messi the hell out of my way.
Yeah, exactly. Barcelona playing a near B-side, we'll say today.
Still had 240 million pound players in Dembele and Coutinho. So, what a beast. And the Dutch number 1 goalkeeper. So.
Yes.
Did we mention they're in the Nations League semifinals? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
Yay, good job, Dutch, bouncing back from the World Cup.
Well, yeah.
But so Barcelona goes up 1-0 early. Tottenham grew into the game, had chance after chance. Coutinho also had one go off the post near the end of the first half.
Sonny missed a freaking.
Yes, he did. Missed a few big ones there. But finally, in the 85th minute, Lucas Moura comes on for Tottenham and scores a tap-in set up from Harry Kane right outside the box. Tottenham gets level with Barcelona, and all they had to do was match Inter's result. And it looked like they might beat it for a while as Eindhoven got up 1-0 early on Inter thanks to Chucky Lozano.
Thanks to Chucky Lozano.
Thank Mr. Lozano. 13th minute goal at Inter. That was the biggest part. At Inter. Got the Eindhoven up 1-0 early. Mauro Cardi got one back for Inter in the 73rd minute. But the stoppage time was not enough. Inter draws 1-1 which sees both Tottenham and Inter on 8 points, and thanks to head-to-head away goals, Tottenham 1-0 over Inter goes through. Inter will be the 3rd seed and goes to Europa League. Barcelona, obviously, they won the group, and Eindhoven is out of the competition.
Somewhat the most underwhelming Mission Impossible complete.
Yes.
Because remember, 3 matches ago, Spurs were dead, done, and not coming back. It was so interesting to keep up with this match. Of course, at the pub today.
Spurs corner.
Well, of course, at the pub today, yes. Out of the 8 TVs in there, we were nice and gave Spurs fans 1.
Yes.
Also, the PSG fans got 1, which there were none of. We just had to keep up and see what happened there. Because PSG fans don't exist. They just show up.
Hey.
But over in the corner, you're looking at it, it's like, well, it was the most Spursy of days because you're losing, but it's like, it's okay because we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
We're fine right now.
Eindhoven's up. PSV's up. We can lose one of it. Oh, Jesus Christ, the Cardi's going.
Yes.
And the wailing, the gnashing of teeth, the shredding of clothes was on. And then Lucas Moura pulls one out late. And Spurs, in literally the most Spurs way that they can pull it off. Spurs are through. And that's huge.
It's crazy.
It is huge because, for a team like Spurs this season and a team like Liverpool not so much because they've got what's going on in the league. But for Spurs, it's like, damn, we're out of the Champions League. What the hell do we do now?
Yeah.
It would have been seen as a huge disappointment. Obviously, it would have been a disappointment. But also, it's one more feather in the Poch has got to go to Real because obviously you can't win anything at Tottenham. It would have been another feather for that group. Spurs go through, and as we'll learn with Liverpool, all 4 England sides are going through.
Woo, we did it! England football's back.
That's right, baby.
It's
Keep all 4 of us. No more qualification for all 4. Yeah, we deserve it.
Yeah.
But just a huge result for Tottenham. And you can say it wasn't Barcelona's best team, but to go and get a result at the Camp Nou.
Oh yeah.
The last English team that went and won at the Camp Nou was Liverpool in 2007, the season they went to the Champions League final and lost AC Milan. That's the last time an English team's ever been able to go and win.
Yeah.
So, it's not like, they're not playing Messi, we'll win. Not really that easy to just throw that out there and say it. So.
Yeah, so I actually think that's Barcelona's only home loss to an English team in the Champions League.
Ever in the Champions League, yeah.
So it is very difficult to go do that, but Tottenham did it. They did it the hard way, going through, obviously, needing the pair of goals against Eindhoven in their 4th match to get the 2-1 win, getting the late goal from Eriksen at Wembley and against Inter just a little bit ago to win 1-0, and then to get that late goal from Lucas. A group that started with Tottenham giving up late goals to put them down. Obviously, the first match against Inter, giving up 2 in the final 6 minutes to lose. Giving up one late to Eindhoven to draw at Eindhoven, which if they don't give up those goals, this match doesn't even matter. They're just through. And might have actually mattered to try and win the group.
But too, look at these 3 matches since, and look at the times that Tottenham are scoring their
79,
goals.
80.
89th
85.
minute, 80th minute, 85th. They're doing it late. They're leaving it late. They're giving you the good old English heart attack.
Yes.
You get up the next morning, eat your beans, eat your English bacon, and that's what's going to kill you guys early. But it's all good.
Yeah, it's hard.
But we're through, and that's what matters.
That's all that matters. And hey, not to put them down or anything, but if this Tottenham side gets like Dortmund's a 1 seed. I don't hate that draw.
I'm gonna say
I kind of hate that draw if I'm Dortmund. Actually,
I wouldn't be disappointed as Tottenham. I wouldn't be disappointed to see PSG over there. PSG are gettable. They're very gettable.
Yeah, because PSG did get the 1 seed. You're right.
Yeah,
as we'll get to in a second here.
Yeah, they're very gettable. I think it's an open Champions League this year.
Yeah,
because Madrid does not have the air of invincibility around them with Ronaldo gone. I guess right now, everybody's saying City's the favorite, but bookies are saying City's the favorite, but let's not forget, this is City.
Yeah.
And yes, we talked about it earlier, they've got the squad, they've got the manager, do they have the mentality?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Until they've done it, it's really hard to say they can
Exactly.
actually do it against teams like
Exactly.
a Barcelona, a Juventus, a Real Madrid even, you know.
Juve might be the one this year, just with the Ronaldo effect, and it's kind of taking them up a notch. But, at the same time, Juventus they've kind of blown some shit over the last few years. So, I think it's an open tournament. Once you get this knockout, I mean, I'm not going to be stunned, really, by anyone getting knocked out, I don't think.
No.
Unless Porto does it.
Yeah.
Unless someone from that group knocks somebody out.
Yeah, then it'll get kind of crazy.
What the hell happened?
But more craziness happened in Group C today. PSG winning comfortably against Red Star 4-1 in Belgrade. Goals from Cavani, Neymar, Marquinhos, and Mbappe kind of sealed that one off. But obviously the big... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, Belgrade got it to 2-1,
Yes.
but then,
Still
PSG flipped and flopped their way to it.
Obviously, though, all eyes really, especially after that first 10-minute goal in PSG, all eyes were at Anfield for Liverpool versus Napoli. Napoli needing just a draw or to lose by less than one goal as long as they scored a goal. It's very confusing. A 1-0 result would not do them any favors, though, and that's exactly what happened. Liverpool, thanks to Mo Salah's 34th minute goal, go through, had to survive a last-second attempt from Napoli. Every one of those bajillion pounds they've paid Allison have completely paid off now.
You're not just like sending Roma $5 out of my pocket. Just say, hey, thanks.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so nervy at the end there for Napoli. But Liverpool do go through. They will go through as the second seed of the group thanks to goals in all group matches. Liverpool outscoring Napoli through the group stage is what gets Liverpool through. They're the second. We've had 3 different tiebreakers used in 3 groups. This is insane. PSG again wins the group. Liverpool finished second. Napoli finished third, and will go to Europa. Red Star finishes fourth and are out. But Wes, again, big story. Liverpool with another famous night at Anfield, famous European night at Anfield, with the 1-0 victory there, advancing back into the knockout stage.
Salah scoring in the 34th minute. Great goal from a really tight angle. Hit it with his right foot. Of course, he's a left-footed player, so hitting it with his right foot, that was nice. Really got us going.
That I'm sure would impress Pele, because we know that's why he criticized Messi, is because Messi can't score with both feet.
Even though I think we can all kind of say, yes, he can.
Yeah.
But anyway. Whatever works for you, Pele.
Anyway.
I'm sure
I digress.
I'm sure nothing's sitting in your brain in old age, is it? Liverpool had already had one called back. Good call. I mean, it was the right call. They were both Firmino and Mane were offsides on that one. For Liverpool, it is the age-old Wesism of should have scored 5. This match should have been put away in the first half.
Yes, it should.
We have 4 clear goal-scoring attempts and got one of them to go in. I mean, it was bizarre. And then in the second half, oh my God, Liverpool could have just finished a couple of counterattacks. This thing would have been done and dusted a long time ago. But in true Liverpool fashion, they make us sweat.
Of course.
And in true Liverpool fashion, we bring in Degsy Lovren in the 90th minute. And in true Lovren fashion, he overcommits, lets someone through.
Best defender ever.
And then if it had been any other goalkeeper, it would have been 1-1, and I'd be sitting on your couch in a fetal position crying right now. Instead, Alisson Becker, who I've officially recognized as the greatest goalkeeper who's ever pretty much lived on the face of the earth, comes up with a fantastic point-blank save. They do score a goal, which is properly called offside. And holy shit, Liverpool survive. They go through. It wouldn't have been the end of the world to get knocked out here, just because of, once again, what we are doing in the league. But at the same time, it would have just been embarrassing. Yeah. And also, that would have just had other things. So, I think we'll bring up. I don't know if you've even got in news and notes this week, but the whole Fabinho story.
Oh, the one you were telling me about the other.
It's not even worth bringing up news and notes. But there's a rumor floating out that if Liverpool were not going through that. They were going to open talks with PSG about sending Fabinho, and Well, you know what? That's all off the table now. Not that why would you do that anyway? But I mean, unless you want to pay us double, why would you do that anyway? But that's off the table. And for Liverpool, bedlam at Anfield.
Yeah.
Dries Mertens made a critical error in his life. By, here's the deal: when you get into matches like this, you talk shit after you've won.
Yeah.
You don't talk shit before the match.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the famous Anfield sign and how you don't think it's worth a shit. That's great. Do it after you've knocked us out.
Yeah.
Don't do it and then let Klopp just be like, team talk, boom.
Oopsies.
Who wants to talk about Dries Mertens? Get to the chopper!
Well, we'll have fun in the Europa League.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to tell you, truth be told, I hate to see Napoli end up in Europa.
Yeah.
I would have much rather seen Liverpool and Napoli go through. I think Napoli do play good football. Carlo Ancelotti obviously knows how to win in the Champions League. It's just to put it in weapons status. Unfortunately, he came with an M4. Yeah. And unfortunately, Liverpool was a howitzer, and PSG basically is a stealth bomber.
Yeah.
So, Napoli are good in maybe 3/4 of the other groups. Napoli are going through.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, they just ended up in the group of death, and the group of death, I think, completely lived up to its billing in this tournament.
Oh man, it was a great group overall. Definitely, when we saw the initial draw, this was one of the great groups that we were looking forward to. Both B and C, both lived up to their billing, and how crazy they ended up being. Obviously, I think there was a little better football played in C than in B, but just a great thing that both these groups lived up to. And then there's Group D, the group of, okay, I guess somebody's going to win this one. Porto.
The group of, damn, I forgot this was a group.
Yes. Porto, we mentioned them earlier.
Napoli, if only they had gotten in this group,
I
everything would have been perfect.
Damn it.
Why couldn't they have been in the second pot for this group?
If only. Porto do get a big 3-2 victory at Istanbul, that night in Istanbul for Porto. They do beat Galatasaray 3-2 to win Group D. Schalke 04 gets a 1-0 victory over Lokomotiv Moscow. That is unfortunately for them, didn't really matter that much.
Anyway, yeah.
They were going through. So Porto wins the group. Schalke 04 finishes second. Galatasaray finishes third. So they will go to Europa, and Moscow finishes fourth.
They will
just 1 point.
They will hit the tracks.
Yes.
On back to Russia, because they're locomotive.
I see what you did there.
We'll see if you want to keep up with that one. Schalke going through. It's been a nice little bounce back this season for Schalke. After they had had a tough season last year, were just able to qualify for the Champions League. So good job for them.
Absolutely.
To get through in a group that I think everyone's going to be looking at like all the 2 seeds. Liverpool's will be like, shit, we'll play Porto.
Yeah. You guys did last year, and it worked out great.
Hey, no problem. Yeah. Porto, sure. Let's rematch that shit. Yeah. And I'm sure, PSG's going, oh, Schalke, yes, we will play Schalke.
So Group D is a group that a lot of other teams are going to be looking at their chops to get at, especially when you think Group E has Bayern and Ajax going through. Group F is Man City and Lyon.
Now go back
possibly
real quick.
Lyon.
Yeah, Lyon.
Possibly Lyon.
Yeah, Lyon just needs a result.
Yes.
And they should be fine. I believe, are they playing Shakhtar?
Yes, they are.
They are.
Shakhtar.
So, yeah, any result for them works. Shakhtar's got to beat them.
And then Group G, Real Madrid and Roma. Roma's kind of... And then Group H has Juventus and United. Right. So again, we'll be covering that tomorrow in a segment we'll insert right now. And so, guys, now if we sound a little bit different, we have joined you now here on Wednesday. This is the second part of our Champions League talk. We're going to do groups E, F, G, and H to round out the Champions League group stage talk. And hey, there's a bit we do later on after we get out of this that almost might have come true today. It didn't quite, as far as we know.
My clairvoyance almost poked through tonight.
Oh man, we almost willed it into existence, just like Crystal Pepsi. So let's start at Group E real quick here. Benfica beat Athens 1-0. A late goal for Benfica in that one. Didn't matter. Benfica was already going to the Europa League, and Athens was already out. So Athens really just playing to try and get a point in this Champions League group stage. They did not. 0 points in the group. But the crazy match was Ajax versus Bayern Munich. 3-3 in Amsterdam. Everybody was getting quite high there. Dusan Tadic with the brace that was matched by one from Robert Lewandowski, but Lewandowski took Tadic one further and picked himself up a red card. That was after Ajax had also gone down to 10 men, so it was 10 on 10 for the last few minutes of the match. Bayern sealed the win. Or sealed the group win thanks to Kingsley Coman putting in the 90th minute goal that got Bayern up 3-2. Ajax pulled one back in the final minute, but a 3-3 draw was not enough to see Ajax go top of the group. They will finish second, but Wes, I think the thing we learned, besides maybe that, as I think we've kind of seen in the Bundesliga and in this Champions League group stage, Bayern aren't the sort of overwhelming kings of Germany that they have been. And I tell you what, I don't know if there's a one seed right now that really wants to see their team drawn against Ajax going into the round of 16.
No, Ajax, well, let's talk Bayern to start with.
Okay.
It has definitely been a difficult season at the Bavarian Giants. They are not winning the Bundesliga right now. They're really kind of distantly off the pace in Bundesliga that Dortmund have set. There are talks around the manager being, if not fired during the season, it's almost a given that he will not be retained.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like there could be major regime change coming in at Bayern, as well as a rollover of the playing group. Robin and Ribéry are both leaving after this season. It's been stated. And if a new manager's coming in as well, they could kind of use some freshening up all the way at the top as well. But I don't know if Tuvie Hunis is on his way out quite yet. Maybe it needs to be. But for Bayern, it is definitely a transition coming. This past summer was maybe the closest that we've seen Robert Lewandowski getting to maybe leaving. And he was not happy really to stick around. So there's a chance, you almost got to think there's a chance he'll be gone next season. So a lot of change coming to Munich. They were able to hold on and win this group, but it has definitely not been one of those classic Munich seasons where you're sitting there looking, oh man, Munich, they're going to be one of the favorites. Even though strangely they are, apparently by the bookies, they're the second favorite behind City right now.
Woof, I don't know about that.
Seriously, that's not action I'm trying to take. But anyway, on to Ajax. This is an Ajax team who, let's be fair, let's be honest. Ajax have become maybe the best farm system in Europe.
Yes.
They've not like they haven't been for a while. Ajax always are producing top level young talent. This year they have two absolutely spectacular young talents in young De Ligt and young De Jong. Both are going to fetch huge sums. Huge, rumor going around that De Jong is signed, sealed, delivered, going to Barcelona for the summer next year. De Ligt is wanted by pretty much everybody.
Yes.
He's a 19-year-old multi-time cap Dutch international center defender who is just fantastic. And then, of course, they've got the likes of Hakim Ziyech. The aforementioned Dusan Tadic. They got Danny Blind. Whoop-de-doo. But anyway, this is a very talented, very exciting Ajax team. I wouldn't put money that they're getting out of the round of 16. Got to see the draw, obviously, but they have definitely been exciting, and it has been a breath of fresh air for the Dutch league to see them get at least back into the knockout rounds.
Certainly, and of course, Spurs been blessed with some of that Ajax talent. Eriksson, Vertonghen, and Alderweireld among them, of course. But yes, this new group of Ajax talent has done very well for themselves, and they are playing a very exciting brand of football and going toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich, even in a home match. But I also believe, I want to say there was also a 1-1 draw in Munich. So
Right.
earlier in the group stage. So this Ajax team is going to be a tough out for anyone. As we go to Group F, another 1-1 draw took place. That was a big one. Nabil Fekir, who I'm sure every Lyon fan is very glad is still playing for the French side. His goal in the 65th minute sealed the 1-1 draw in Ukraine against Shakhtar that pushed Lyon through into the knockout round. They needed at least a draw against Shakhtar, and they got it. 1-1 was the final there. City with a comeback 2-1 win against Hoffenheim. A brace from Leroy Sané in that one. So City tops the group. Lyon finished second. Shakhtar finished third. They'll be going to the Europa League. Hoffenheim finish fourth. So Wes, this group I think played out mostly how we thought it would. But Lyon, again, put up a very strong showing. Again, beat City to open up this entire stage. And almost beat them again in France just a couple weeks ago. But I think it's safe to say the two best teams are going through from this group.
I'd say so. Hoffenheim coming off a good season in Germany, but they weren't quite up to it with this group. Mm. And Shakhtar is always one of those teams that they're going to be able to run some teams to the wall. Mm-hmm. But this time Lyon just had a little more. We just mentioned Ajax, talking about all the talent Ajax have that are coveted by European teams. My God, just look at Lyon's roster.
There's this guy named Memphis Depay. He seems pretty good.
But he's not even the one everybody wants.
I know.
Of course. Nabil Fekir is the big name there. Obviously, the almost Liverpool man during the past season. But also, they've got a really, really strong core group of players at Lyon who we'll have to see going into next season how many of those guys are still in Lyon.
Especially guys like Traore and Ndombele, who have both been heavily linked to the Premier League.
Right. So just a lot of top talent out there, and it'll be interesting, like you said, to see who sticks around Lyon. So when they get this chance to make a run, this is their chance. Of course, they were was it Lyon or Marseille were the finalists in Europa last year?
Let me look.
Since I put that on you.
Yeah, thanks. My knowledge of Europa League football is not great.
Well, one of them lost to Atletico Madrid last year.
Let's see.
Europa Final 2018. It was Atletico won it. We know. Oh, it was Marseille. Never mind. Okay, not Lyon. It was Marseille. But yeah, for Lyon though, a young, talented group, and they're able to put their stamp onto the knockout round of the Champions League.
Mm-hmm. Certainly, and that's again another fun young team coming up through the ranks here, and that is something that's been good to watch. This tournament is how many different and not old or new clubs necessarily, but clubs kind of returning to form a little bit, like your Ajaxes and your Lyons. So it's good to see them coming back.
And another one of those two seeds that teams are going to be looking at going.
Yeah. I gotta say, if we look across the two seeds right now, you have Atletico, Tottenham, Liverpool. Schalke is okay, and then Ajax and Lyon and a couple others that we'll get to as well.
And then the real dregs of the two seeds.
Manchester United. So you're right. The two seeds are not to be trifled with this year, I believe.
And Ed, I'm going to foreshadow a point that may be made later. Mm-hmm. I think this is just a wide open Champions League year.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
especially when City's your favorite. They're going to fuck up somewhere along the way.
Exactly.
You can put City all the favorites you want. They're not going to win it. So.
No. Going to Group G now, and Group G did have a bit of a crazy finish. This was actually the early matches of the day. Moscow must feel incredibly hard done to go into the Bernabeu against what was a rotated Real Madrid side, but to go in there and get a 3-0 victory, and it wasn't even that close. Moscow completely ran rampant over Real Madrid, and you just don't say that many times in the Champions League group stage, apparently, especially, I should say. Moscow absolutely needed the win, and they got it. Unfortunately for them, Victoria Pilsen also got a win. The Czech Republic side got a 2-1 victory over Roma. The winning goal in the match coming from Thomas Chori in the 72nd minute to break Moscow hearts. Again, that was just to get to the Europa League.
You have like Moscow have hearts. Come on.
I know, seriously. God, it's absolutely brutal. Roma also with not much to play for, but they will be going through as the second seed. And heartbreak again, Wes, for Moscow. But I think what this result highlights as well is something that you just said. Real Madrid not looking spectacular in this group stage, although they didn't look spectacular in the group stage last year when they also didn't finish first to Tottenham. But
I think last year they also had a guy named Ronaldo.
Yes, they did.
They were just better.
And again,
and they had a manager named Zidane.
Yes, and I think that again underscores how wide open this group is when, again, the teams like Bayern Munich, like Real Madrid, aren't just plowing through the group stage like they have in years past.
Mm-hmm. I believe you said earlier, this isn't something you see very often from Madrid. Their worst ever home loss in Europe.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, 3-0's 3-0. It's not like that's the end of the world, but for them it was, but I mean, we talk about the youth in this team. This is still a squad that started Benzema, Isco, Marcelo, Courtois. Yeah, definitely not at the back with Sanchez, Vallejo, and Odriozola. This wasn't a top Real team, but they did bring on Danny Carvajal. They did bring on Toni Kroos, and they did bring on Gareth Bale in this match. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, Vinicius Jr., who actually had a really nice game, actually, in a losing effort. These are ultra talented players. Marco Asensio started this match. I mean, these are extremely talented players, and really, I hate to say it, but this is unacceptable from Real Madrid.
Absolutely.
But I guess if this is going to happen, I guess this was the time for it to happen when you already had everything done and dusted.
Sure, of course. And I do think, just to give a little more context, I think, to a match we talked about yesterday or earlier in this podcast, depending on how you want to look at it. We talked a little bit about and joked kind of how Barcelona fielded a bit of a B-side against Tottenham. But they showed today two guys on that Barcelona, quote, B-side in Dembele and Coutinho. Both cost more than the entire starting 11 of Tottenham. So you see, like, and I also saw today that Tottenham or that Champions League match was the first time since 2006 that Barcelona at home had a possession deficit, that they were not above 50%. So again, as another team, we're seeing, even though they played a slightly weakened side, and oh, by the way, Messi did still come on in that match, they're just not looking great. And Barcelona maybe looks better than most, but just it's very, very tough to pick a favorite now, no matter what the bookies will tell you. Don't know that they're going to be picking the 2 seed out of H to be the odds-on favorite, though. Certainly not after today's performance. Group H ends with 2-2-1 victories for home sides. Oh, those young boys! They did it. They got it in the end. They got their first win.
Those young boys.
A big win. We do joke. A possibly historic win against Juventus. A Juventus side, by the way, that did still kind of have to win the group. Now, that would have been assuming Manchester United took care of business, which of course they did. And of course, I mean, Juventus did play Wojciech Szczesny in goal, but they still started Ronaldo. They started Douglas Costa. They started Mandzukic. They started Bonucci. They put the guys out there you expect to see a lot of the time. And still they go out and lose to Young Boys 2-1. Paulo Dybala with the goal in the match for Juventus. I had a chance at a second, but Mr. Ronaldo was a little offsides on the play. Got a little excited. And so 2-1 was the final there. As it was in Valencia, where the Spanish side beats Manchester United 2-1, thanks to, in big part, to a Phil Jones own goal, which, yes, go look up the picture. It's great. Just a delicious. His first touch was exquisite.
Just check my Twitter, which I will give you guys later in the show.
Of course he will. Just a delicious own goal from Phil Jones. That put United down 2-0 just after the start of the second half.
The thing about that is the best United finish I've seen in months.
Yeah. Marcus Rashford scoring in the 87th minute was not enough to bring United all the way back. And Wes, I know you have thoughts, and I'm very excited to hear them. But I had a thought when I was on the way home, as Twitter was busy eviscerating Romelu Lukaku. I had a thought, and I want you to tell me if I'm just being biased or if there's actually some truth to this. Romelu Lukaku is the player that everyone who doesn't believe in Harry Kane thinks Harry Kane is.
I can see that. I mean, Romelu Lukaku. We have long discussed Romelu Lukaku on this show.
A long time.
That Lukaku is a complete flat track bully. He's really good when he's. Lukaku is great when he's lining up against Cardiff. I can't really say that for this year, but those are, oh man, you can look for a Lukaku, a brace or a great goal or something. But man, as soon as it's one of those rubber meets the road time and you really need Lukaku, he disappears or he gets played out of a match. I say that, watch him score 2 against Liverpool this weekend, but whatever. I don't think it's going to happen, actually. Now, wait. I will talk about this. I may have already talked about it. I believe this year is.
There you go.
I have confidence. But, Harry Kane has always caught this, but what does he do in the big matches? Well, lately he scores or assists in the big matches. What does Lukaku do in the big matches? He goes AWOL for about 87 minutes.
And he's just, they're both big, strong players, but Lukaku never seems to actually use his strength as an advantage. And he's also not very good on the ball. Like Kane is actually
his first touch sucks.
Yeah.
He doesn't drive forward well. I mean, if you put any real pressure on him, he capitulates quite easily. Or he'll just kick the ball out of play or just do something. Lukaku's almost becoming like a really bad fox in the box.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what everybody thinks Harry Kane is.
Yeah, that's right. All Harry Kane scores are crap tap-ins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn one-year wonder.
Eventually. But obviously, again, United have a lot of problems. Juventus do come out of the group as winners of the group. United finish second. Valencia do finish third. Young Boys finish fourth. And I guess as we wrap this part up, Wes, United do have to also feel very disappointed because if they had beaten Valencia, they would have won the group. And I know we said that the 2 seeds are quite strong and blah, 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 but for a team that has been floundering at times this year, to be able to say, hey, we won our group with in a group with Juventus in it, that would at least maybe be able to spring them forward a little bit. But when it came down to it, Juventus held the door open and said, please walk right through and be group winners. And United just kind of Phil Jones themselves.
I mean, God, it was such an insipid United performance. I mean, it was so bad. And there's really nothing else to say for it. It was so bad. It was so poor when they actually, at the moment, had everything to play for. They pulled United and just crap the bed, and they had the greatness of Paul Pogba out there. He didn't do shit. I mean, it was super poor. It was just really, really poor.
Do you think there will be carryover? I know you're hoping there will be. Do you think there will be carryover into the weekend's match?
I'm gonna tell you this: they're gonna be playing a hell of a lot better team than Young. Now this was a rotated United side. De Gea didn't play, and De Gea might have been able to make a save on that Phil Jones wonder strike. De Gea didn't play. They had, God, Phil Jones did play. What does that tell you? It was Jones and Bailly. Trust me, that ain't first choice.
Fred played.
First choice ain't much better. But they're going to have their hands full this weekend. Now, we mentioned it a little earlier. This is a Klopp versus United has not had a lot of success since Mourinho's been there. As we found out actually today, Liverpool are now down to 2 healthy central defenders. One of those is Dejan Lovren. Jesus. Thank God above the other one is still Virgil van Dijk. So, basically right now the way I feel is, as long as Virgil van Dijk's out there, everything else as long as Virgil and Alisson are there, everything else will kind of take care of itself defensively. Yeah. But it is going to be Lovren out there. Lovren's had issues in the past with Lukaku. United, you've got to assume United are coming to play park the bus. So Liverpool are going to have the challenge of having to break them down. And two, when you get this rivalry going, it's one of those throw the records out. And also we know something about United. United under Mourinho loved to play that role of the spoiler. Yeah. They did it last year when City were on their run of being unbeaten to start the season. They got them. They were the team that finally took down City. And there would be nothing. Well, and see, United fans are kind of in a catch-22. It's like, who do you hate more? Yeah. Because if you beat Liverpool, then more than likely City goes back top. But if you lose to Liverpool, then Liverpool are going to stay top. So, but for United, they would love to go in and spoil Liverpool's great start and be the team that stood up and beat Klopp and beat Liverpool. And certainly, it's gonna be a war on Sunday. There's no doubt about it. It's gonna be a fight. But hopefully United keep playing up to the same high level that they've been holding themselves to thus far this season.
Well, there you go. And again, the draw will be next Monday. So on next week's podcast, we will be bringing you our reaction to the Champions League knockout stage draw. So that is going to do it for our extended coverage of day 2 of the Champions League final group stage.
That was mad. Oh my God!
Oh, wow.
Can you believe Mourinho got fired anyway?
Oh man, if that comes true.
Sweet bejeebus.
Wow.
He won and they just fired him for the hell of it.
That would be amazing if that comes through. All right, we're going to hit the news and notes now. I hope you enjoyed our Champions League talk. Again, Champions League knockout stage starts February? Sure. Wow, I should have probably actually looked at that.
Probably pulled that up pretty quickly.
Here, let me.
March 13th, I believe.
Is it really? No. That's second leg. Second leg is in March. First leg is mid-February.
Getcha.
So there we go. And the draw will be at the end of this on the 17th.
Should be coming up right quick here.
Is that Monday?
Yeah, it should be.
Oh, I figured they draw on Friday.
Let's see. 17th is
That's Monday,
Monday, yeah.
Okay. So, Monday. Next week, we'll have draw. Whatever.
Sure.
All right.
Gives us something to talk about.
There you go. News and notes. Rob Holding. He got hurt. And that's bad for Arsenal. He has a ACL injury on his left knee. He will be doing surgery. And he'll be 6 to 9 months. Yes, he is. So he had just started playing like decently well for Arsenal. Yeah. So that is a minor blow to Arsenal's defensive core, which was already shaky at best and is losing one of its better members, unfortunately.
For them, anyway. Unfortunately for them.
I don't know how much we want to talk about this story, just because it's...
Well, that's interesting that they suspended the fans.
Yes, 4 fans, to get into the story, 4 fans were seen on the international feed of the Chelsea-Man City match, and being at Chelsea, these were Chelsea fans, screaming racist epithets against Manchester City player Raheem Sterling. It did come out today that one of the people who was ejected from the, or not, he wasn't ejected from the stadium, but he's being banned for life is what it is. Has come out and say he did not say a racist epithet. Okay. So these four people were doing, what this did is lead to a larger discussion of systemic racism that has been creeping back into English football. Robbie Earle talked with Rebecca Lowe this past weekend and gave a very, emotional speech about how, being also a black Jamaican, just like Raheem Sterling, and the kind of abuse he suffered back in the 80s when it was obviously much more rampant in English football, and having to deal with that and how they tried to combat it through the Kick It Out program. And I know it affected him seeing that come back into the game little by little. Mm-hmm. It is a terrible thing, and I think there's not really much to debate. I mean, it's a terrible thing that people do, and I don't appreciate that the fan in question tried to say, I didn't call him a black cunt, I called him a Mancunian cunt. And it's like, why do you need to scream that at all? Why can't you just scream you suck, or you're bad on England? Because he's not that great when he plays for England.
Sir, you are not good.
Thank you. Just that.
That is how we heckle.
Yeah. Oh, wow. America's got some problems too.
You're not good.
But obviously there was also, a couple weeks ago, the incident where the Tottenham fan threw a banana peel at an Arsenal player, which is, as we know from Italy, also kind of a racist gesture. So it is just unfortunate that this looks like it's seeping back into the game. Earl called it a cancer that has to constantly be monitored and attacked to make sure it doesn't come back.
And just something to throw out there, in the United States especially, we're kind of going through this point of our history where, I'm not going to get too far into this, but, basically everybody's butthurt about everything. Mm-hmm. Edward, have you heard, baby, it's cold outside? Apparently now it's all about rape culture.
Now?
Good job, Dean Martin.
I've been hearing this for the last 10 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Anyway. But, the United States, there are a lot of race issues going on, and, people, they sit here and go, oh, the U.S. is such a racist country. But Europe, don't forget, Europe is our shining star. They're the shining light that we need to look forward to. My God. Everywhere you go in Europe, are you going to, football games in the United States where there is widespread screaming of racial obscenities at the players?
I'd hope not.
If they are,
I imagine
they're doing a damn good job of covering it up.
Yeah.
Or obviously it's not a widespread issue here. You look, especially you go to the Eastern European countries.
Oh God. Russia,
Italy, Russia.
Russia's terrible.
All these places, Spain. Mm-hmm. People throwing bananas on the field, screaming racial slurs.
We heard about, not that we love him that much, but Mario Balotelli's journey back to Italy and the abuse he got. Yeah, and, he had issues for it. Rhian Brewster, a young Liverpool player who we should hopefully see in the next month or so. He's our next great striker of the week. But anyway, he actually had a big one when the under 23s or under 18s played in Russia last year during the under 18 the youth World Cup
Champions League.
Oh yeah, Champions.
Where of course Liverpool were playing Kuska, and so they went over there. The youngsters did, and he had things screamed at him, obscenities, and it's it's widespread, man. It's widespread. So
I think for a little bit though we thought maybe England had gotten past it a little bit.
Right. Well, of course, England's somewhat like the United States. There is so much cultural diversity. Now, obviously, we completely condemn, say, the Eastern Bloc and what goes on there. But at the same time, man, you go to the Eastern Bloc, how many brothers you seeing?
Not many, I imagine.
I don't think there are many there. Yeah. A lot of black immigration in Europe comes from Africa, but that immigration they're going straight up. They're not going up and turning right. They're going to, England and France especially, England. Those countries are getting more of it so you're not seeing it as much there because these cultures, and I think as each generation passes, they'll become more and more enmeshed and kind of like the United States has. But, especially, man, you go to, not to call you out, Serbia, Ukraine, those places, especially Russia, it's not part of the culture. And when they see someone come in, it's kind of like that old, it's kind of like 1950s, 1960s southern United States where, they were segregated. So, when you went to a ball game and you saw, you went to an all-white school and suddenly you saw a team full of black guys or vice versa, it's like, wait, what the hell is this? Yeah, I'm not used to this.
I think I remember there was, I was talking to somebody the other day, she was a young lawyer. I don't remember exactly, she was a very small town, kind of remote, and she hadn't seen a black person until she got to, or like in real life, until she got to college.
Oh, wow.
And that's still happening, and that's not a bad thing. It's just it's just the situation.
Well, and then it's just how do you
react?
Yeah, how do you react to yourself? There are especially small towns in the Midwest where there's just I think we kind of take it for granted. Maybe here in the South now of all places, because I went to a high school that was 70% black.
Yeah, mine was about 50-50.
Yours was 50-50. Most of Nash County is about that 50-50 ratio. And most of our southern, here we're coming to you tonight from lovely Raleigh, North Carolina. Yes. I hate Raleigh, but that's for other
Technically,
reasons.
we're in Cary, but it's fine.
Oh, God, even worse. Those Yankees that come down south. Jackie's not here, is she?
No,
Good. She didn't hear my hate talk.
There you go.
But, we're used to it.
Yeah.
It's not a thing for us, but... you go, especially some of those places in the Midwest, the extreme north, the Mainers.
North Dakota.
Yeah, those places, it's kind of like, oh, there's a black guy here. It's like, yeah, I'm from Rocky Mountain. Nothing else need to be said, sir. Yeah. So, it is sad to see, but... I think a lot is put on the United States where really, there is an old biblical phrase, which is, before you point out before you point out the splinter in my eye, maybe take the plank out of yours. Yes. So, Europe still got a ways to go, but hopefully this will be an isolated incident this year. And as much as I'm not, Raheem Sterling gets stick nowhere worse than at Anfield.
Yes.
But like it was said, he gets it at Anfield because, it doesn't matter if he's black, white, purple,
He's a traitor.
He's a traitor. That's why he gets it when he comes to us. but none of it racially motivated.
That's how I've always felt. Like, if you can just keep it to play. Like, just keep it to their ability.
Raz, you suck.
There you go. You are a terrible footballer. Fine.
You're terrible. You're a freaking traitor. Kiss our ass.
There you go.
And
but
it doesn't matter that you're black.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're screaming at Coutinho too.
There you go. My hope is that this kind of brings it back, like bringing it back to the light this strong, maybe redoubles down some efforts to get that sort of shit out of the game because it doesn't have a place. Just because, again, I can't stress this enough. Just because you buy a ticket, just because you get to sit in the front row, doesn't give you the right to just say whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't. You don't get to do that. Just use common sense, people, and don't say racist shit. Like, it's very easy.
Don't be racist and don't do meth.
There you go.
You keep those two things in mind, folks, you can have a pretty good life.
There you go. So hopefully, as bad as Raza, and look, we've had our fun with Raza on this show.
Continue until his ass scores at Anfield.
So we
should be sometime between now and never.
We've given Sterling a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Always for his on the field play.
He always deserves it.
We, for other media publications, again, the publication that will not be named got called into question today about a lot of the way they write headlines, and Sterling even called it out himself. So British media, not that I expect that 3-word magazine to do better, but do better. Just do better, guys. All right, so we're going to end tonight, News and Notes, with a very interesting story. U.S. Soccer Foundation is suing the U.S. Soccer Federation over a naming dispute. The Soccer Foundation, which is an independent charitable organization, has invested $125 million over the last 25 years to spread soccer outreach into minority and low-income communities. They're suing the U.S. Soccer Federation because they don't want their logos to be the same anymore. The president of the foundation was told by U.S. Soccer in August that they were ending the relationship between the two organizations. And now it's like, oh, well, now you can't use our stuff anymore. And now, so that they're not joined anymore, I guess the foundation is trying to get back at them by saying, well, you can't use our name, which doesn't really make any sense, considering that you can't really put a copyright or a trademark on U.S. Soccer. Like, I don't see how that was. So it can't be that part. And then it's like, well, foundation, federation should be different enough. So I don't really understand how this works. This seems really, really stupid. So, yay. Good on you, U.S. Soccer Foundation. Good on you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say of this. I mean, personally, I would like to know the reasoning behind why U.S. Soccer Federation has walked away from the U.S. Soccer Foundation, which seems to do nothing but, help them.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I don't.
So it looks
really
like
know.
it also looks like U.S. Soccer, the federation wants to maybe use the foundation's name for itself, and so I guess the foundation is trying to protect its name. It's weird. U.S. Soccer is nothing if not a clusterfuck at all times.
United States Soccer is basically the meme of just a dumpster on fire.
Yes, it is.
I mean, Berhalter, what, he might turn out to be the guy.
Sure.
But just the way they went about it was so convolutedly fucked.
Took a year to interview 2 people.
Even though this was the guy, like, a year ago, they were saying, they'll probably hire Berhalter.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you don't tell us who to hire. Rabble. And then we ended up with Berhalter, which, once again, might be a fine hire.
Sure.
But it's just...
Maybe.
U.S. Soccer does not...
Never.
Wrap themselves in glory
at
any point of this.
They don't. They just don't. So that's going to do it for news and notes. Well, yeah, she's kind of fucked on that. That's something else. Let's head the... we won't talk about that on the podcast. Not until it actually goes through and affects the Premier League. Let's head the watch for. Wes, what have you been watching the week there was? The week there will be.
What was this week? Oh man, it seems like I watched something good. Well, last everything's kind of finishing up. Oh my God, oh Jesus, Walking Dead.
Oh, that's the fall season's done.
Fall season ended. It's actually a couple of weeks ago. I just finally caught up on it. The end of last week. Holy crap! They have introduced now the Whispers.
Yes, I heard about that. Yes.
Which to me has the potential to be like super fucking creepy. I mean, that was creepy as hell until we finally figured out what they were. I'm sure a lot of people who watch it already knew because they read the comic. I don't read the comics, so everything to me is like, kick ass. But apparently it's this group that they dress themselves as walkers and they take walker faces and actually like wear them like as masks.
Oh boy! So
you can't tell that what they are. You can't tell if they're real.
That sounds like fun.
And it was a shocking introduction to them where it's like, well, what the? Oh no! As we lost one of our main core people.
Jesus.
Because actually it was Jesus. Yeah. So, oh Jesus! Yeah, that's actually who it was.
Yeah.
As Jesus shockingly killed off. I mean, just wait, what?
Also, that diverges from the comics, so you wouldn't have known anyway.
Okay. Oh, well, good for me. But just the way he went, he was going. It looked like just to make a routine kill. All of a sudden, the zombie ducked and came around the knife. You're like, wait, what?
You're not supposed to be able to do that.
What just happened? No. So I mean, that was really a fun end of the season. And of course, then you get online, so like, oh, this is such convoluted. You get all the nobody's happy with everything, and a lot of people just aren't happy with anything, so they find something to bitch about. But for me, I think this season of Walking Dead, I think they've come back pretty strong from really, especially last season, which is just like, oh, will this ever? Will anything happen?
Yeah.
We're finally near the end of the year. Something finally happened, and then the season ended. So,
Yeah.
but this season, we've lost. Rick's gone. Apparently, Maggie's gone for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
They didn't really have it's her last episode too. It's just 6 years later. Oh yeah, she's off with such and such, and you might never see her again.
Oh well.
Okay.
Good job, Maggie.
I thought she was supposed to be the link to the future and supposed to be the great future we were going to have, and she gone. She gone. So, but I've been impressed with this season overall, and I know they've got at least. No, that was the end of it. Okay, so that was the end for the fall. They'll be back in February.
Okay.
They usually wait till after Super Bowl so they don't go against NFL
Makes
ratings
sense.
wise. Chicago Fire. I think the other night was yes, we had the Chicago Fire fall finale, which ended with our brave Captain Matt Casey in his own burning apartment.
Oh no.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Oh no.
Crazy. That's where they left us. And I want to say, did we finish SEAL Team? I think we might have finished SEAL Team for the fall too. And that was they've been down fighting the cartel for the last 3-4 weeks. Of
course.
Well, it's
Gotta fight that
fun.
cartel.
It's interesting. So yeah, man. So that's me. Other than that, I watched. What have I watched this week? I've been to a few movies. I went and saw. What the hell did I go see? I saw that movie, Ed.
That movie.
What movie was it?
Of course, it's that one.
Oh, I saw Robin Hood.
Wait, what?
The new Robin Hood. It's
Oh.
got,
Yeah.
Taron
Egerton.
And Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Dude, it was cool. It was kind of like,
Wow.
it was still Robin Hood. As Carrie Ools pointed out in Men in Tights, he was a Robin Hood with an English accent.
Yes.
Which is very important.
Oh, man.
Remember that, Kevin Costner, if you ever do it again. You got to have the accent to be Robin Hood. But this was, it was same age. Everything was kind of in the same with the story. It was a little different. But they really kind of jazzed it up. It was kind of like Special Ops Robin Hood.
Who did that? It's Shane Black. Shane Black directed it. Yeah, same guy that did MI3 and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
And of course, to go way back, Shane Black was one of the stars of 1986's finest movie, Predator.
There you go.
So, he knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does.
But we kind of got like, it was a little John Woo-ish at times. Where, we had some slow-mos, pop, pop, pop. And he was just like nailing people with that bow and arrow. It was like Special Ops. It almost reminded me a little bit of playing like Assassin's Creed.
Oh, okay.
But I liked it. And they set it up for at least a sequel.
Oh.
Because at the end of it, they're running off into Sherwood Forest. But I liked it. I was down. It was a fun movie. It's not... it's not an award. It's not going to be award-winning Robin Hood. But it was, hey, I'll go see a sequel. Sure. And for all you ladies, you get to see Eggsy without his shirt.
Hey, there you go.
Eggsy?
Hey, well, you can either do that or you can go see Jason Momoa without a shirt, I think.
That's coming.
Yeah.
Basically Roman Reigns' brother.
The better Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Arguably.
He's more over.
Yeah, he really is.
He's definitely more over.
What did I watch? Good Place. Their fall season came to an end this past Thursday, where they're in the good place. If you actually watch the show, you understand why that makes sense. That was great. Superstore keeps on. And of course, I'm surprised you didn't mention this. I figured we could talk about it for a minute or two, because I saw you post it on Facebook, and that was actually the first place I saw it. We've hit the end game, Wes Bradshaw. Oh my God. That's where we are.
Doctor Strange's words.
He called it.
We're in the end game.
We're in the end game now. Oh my God.
I literally, especially with this damnable snow this week, I literally want to take an entire bottle of NyQuil, large bottle of course. I want to sleep until Captain Marvel comes out, and then take another long nap and just wait for Avengers 4 to come out. That's all I want to do with my life right now.
So good.
Why do I have to wait?
We shouldn't have to.
Why do I have to wait for these things?
Yes.
Why don't you just give it to me immediately when I want it?
Release the trailer, and then the next day the movie comes out.
Jesus, Marvel, and just play it at my house, and we'll be fine.
There you go. Oh my God.
Send me an advanced Blu-ray of it.
So a second Captain Marvel trailer also did come out.
Yeah.
So that looked great.
By the way, just throwing that. everybody's throwing a fit. They're like, Brie Larson, she doesn't have any personality. It's like, I'm sorry, do you know who Captain Marvel is?
Yeah.
She's playing her.
She needs to smile more.
Captain Marvel doesn't smile, and she has no personality. Oh man, everybody wants to just.
I remember when they said that because they said the same thing about the poster for Captain Marvel.
Well,
It's
she's
like,
not
why is she not
smiling.
smiling? And then they showed like every other Marvel poster. And it's like the only people that smiled were like Hondu in the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and there was one girl who's I don't remember which one. Maybe Aunt May in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and that's it.
It's not
Literally everyone else is just
Black Widow ain't smiling.
no.
But I mean, that is the entire Captain Marvel. Is she has no sense of humor?
Yeah.
She has no. She is very.
She's like
all
Steve
about-
Rogers.
She's all about doing the job.
Yeah.
Just without the beard.
Yes.
I see you grew a beard like me. Still probably my favorite thing from the third Avengers movie. Anything Thor did just turned to gold in that.
Yes.
Just since Ragnarok, everything he touches is just completely.
They just leaned into being a big dumb guy.
Oh,
and that's the
so
best.
great.
And then of course you have this Endgame trailer, which is super serious. We see Iron Man, Tony Stark sending out a last message of hope. You see Captain America partnering up with Black Widow. We saw Hawkeye,
But not as Hawkeye.
Jeremy Renner's back as something.
Ronan.
Oh my God, Jeremy Renner looks
It's
fucking
gonna
great.
Be Ronan. He's gonna be Ronan, the samurai
Yes.
badass, which
my God,
Hawkeye
so
was
good.
Ronan for a while.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so good.
And it's just super serious trailer. Everybody's emotional. Captain America's like, we have to make this work because if it doesn't, I don't know what I'll do. And then we see the logo, we see the name for the first time of Endgame,
Ding dong.
and then it says Scott Lang. Paul Rudd just comes up. He's like, "Hi,
Hey
Captain-
guys,
Ant-Man
it's me.
here."
Remember me, Ant-Man?
Oh man,
But here's my question. That left so many questions
It did.
because when Ant-Man and Wasp ended, spoiler alert.
yeah.
I mean, he was on his way into the quantum realm with
He
no one
was,
to bring
yeah.
him back. So
Yeah.
how the hell's he getting out of there?
So I have heard, this is also a spoiler, kind of technically maybe, potentially a spoiler. There has been a cast listing for his daughter, but as a different actress.
Okay.
So
Well, this is going to be in the. I want to see how far into the
Yeah.
future we're going on this
mean-
from the events.
I would imagine a couple years, probably.
It's got to be because just kind of the way it looks, kind of the feel of it, the way that we're getting. Because you got to think. I mean, Stark could last for a while up there with what he had. So I mean, I would is it going to be a year, 18 months, 2 years? So I mean, there's got to be questions to be answered. And of course, as we said, we do have Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Which I don't think the Captain Marvel movie is going to answer our questions.
I imagine the stinger.
post-scenes.
Yeah, the stinger will do something.
Yeah. And also the thing about Captain Marvel is maybe we get to see how Samuel L. Jackson,
Oh yeah, Nick Fury.
he has two eyes.
Yes, he does.
He has two eyes. Oh my God.
So maybe we'll see how he loses one.
Oh man,
poor Nick
I'm so excited, man. Was it February and April?
February and April, end of
my
April
God.
for Endgame.
March Madness. Kiss our ass.
Yeah,
I'm
seriously.
just going to see Endgame like 6 times that month.
There we go.
Hell, with my A-list, I can go see it every week for free, so I'm down.
There you go. So that's big.
I see it up to 3 times a week. So.
Again, that's gonna be the one where I'm like, I have to go see it. I might actually go see that night of, if I can work it out. I might go see Endgame night of.
Might have to wait at least. Well, oh my God, I can only imagine the crowds, but
We'll
go
see.
ahead and get your tickets
But that's the
early.
thing. Like, I didn't want to wait to see Infinity War because I was afraid I would get spoiled if I waited too long.
God, that's the problem, man. You know,
That's the reason.
oh yeah, because everybody's such an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, people just become assholes on the internet. I mean, I've never given one shit about the Star Wars stuff, but even I knew when Kylo Ren killed Han Solo.
Yeah. Yeah, and you told me.
Yeah, I told you.
And I
I'm
didn't
like-
care.
I'm like, I don't even know who Kylo Ren is, but he killed Han Solo.
Oh, man.
I want to be that dickhead everyone.
Speaking of Roman Reigns from earlier, do you have anything for Sarah Brothers?
TLC's coming up this Sunday, so we've got matches. The big one, the one I've kind of been keeping my eye on from a distance because unfortunately I'm not watching week to week right now. I just can't do it. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. Obviously, you knew that was one I was always going to be keeping up with. And for some reason, the last couple of weeks, suddenly Dean Ambrose is like Bane. I mean, he's got the whole Bane jacket thing.
Really?
He's come out with a gas mask on the last few weeks. Ambrose,
Interesting.
if they... And something else, if they will just kind of unleash Ambrose to go full heel, it could be fantastic. Because he's such a good heel. He's such a good asshole when he wants to be. But he's not kind of like a smarmy asshole. He's like the asshole who will jump you, beat the shit out of you, and drop a cinder block on your head kind of asshole. He's the kind of asshole who like puts you in a hospital.
Yes.
Something real interesting this week, sometimes when WWE are at their best, they will kind of cross over to like real life with things. I think they're trying to do it right now because the last few weeks Raw has gotten such abysmal ratings and everything. They're trying to turn that into a storyline. And because they're like Seth Rollins this week was putting it on the general manager Baron Corbin. And it's like, ratings have gone down the toilet since you've become general manager. And you're kind of sitting there and you're like, Seth, I love you. I support you.
So meta.
But no, ratings go down the toilet because overall this entire show is horrible and none of it makes sense. No. But they are trying to bring that into storyline, so whatever. Cool. I'm kind of looking forward to TLC. I always like. Here's the thing with WWE. Recently, and we've said this: the pay-per-views deliver.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Pay-per-views are great. It's just everything built up the pay-per-views is slick dog shit. So. We'll see. I'm working Sunday night, but I don't have a supervisor, so I may have my WWE network on.
There you go.
So folks, if you're in Nash County, please just wait till after 11 to call in.
No, nobody gets shot until 11:15.
Or if you do, just patch yourself up and get to the hospital.
Easy peasy.
Seriously.
So that's gonna do it for this week's episode. Once again, thanks to NGSC Sports and NGSCSports.com. We never stop. Even this podcast is about to, as well as Alicia's Pillows and Things. You can find them on the internet, as well as us. As a collective, we're on Twitter, at AFA Pod. Wes, your handle is?
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21.
I'm at Edward Green. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're our parent show, the All New Sports Show, you can also email us at that address, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Thanks to all our podcast providers, including Podbean.com, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Play Music, and the iTunes Music Store. Real quick, this would normally be the part where I say we'll be back next week. Are we back next week? We should probably talk about the next 2 weeks.
I'm good next week. The week after, I'm not.
Okay.
Is that Christmas week?
Yes, it is.
Because I work Christmas night. That's on a Tuesday. Okay, yeah. So Christmas, I'm out that week.
Okay.
So we might just have to phone a little something in and give them a little 20-minute potter.
Okay. And next,
I'll record my part. You can record your part. You can mix it and
yeah. And that is the thing. The interesting thing. Next week might be short too, just because I will be out of town.
Okay.
Which I should still be able to record.
Okay.
But we just might make it a little bit shorter than normal.
That's why. Yeah, I'm good Wednesday night next week, and then when we come back for the new year, it'll actually be when we record after the new year, it'll be the night before City Liverpool.
Yes.
The City Liverpool showdown. So yeah,
that's rough timing.
Yeah, God, we don't get that one in. That sucks. But it will be. God, Liverpool. Liverpool had to play Arsenal on Saturday and City on Thursday. Jesus.
So we'll at least know their form going into the City match.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Then after City, after that little run, I think that everybody gets a break and don't have to play again until the weekend.
No, I think it's they get
do they have League Cup?
I think it's League Cup.
We get a break.
No, it's FA Cup. I think it's when the FA Cup starts.
Oh, I must not have put my FA Cup draw in here.
Why would you?
And of course,
who cares?
For the 9,731st straight tournament, Liverpool get a Premier League squad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Everybody else is playing. God, literally, United's playing a team I think I'd never heard of.
No, United's playing a championship side. I think City, we're playing I think a League 2 side.
There's someone I've never heard of.
Arsenal's playing a League 2 side, I think.
Let me look real quick. We can kind of finish this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something. I was like, who the hell is that? So,
anywho, well, so that
if I find it before we go off, I'll just blurt it out like I usually.
So I'll delay here. So that means we will be back with the live pod next week again. Might be a little shorter. The week after that, the Christmas pod will be the day after Christmas. But it'll be a dual remote podcast that we'll both just record parts for,
right.
And then we'll go from there. So this is the part of the pod where I'm talking really slowly so I can give you a chance.
So you're playing Rotherham.
There you go. Wes,
no,
do you have
here's
anything
the-
else you'd like to add?
Here's the one.
Okay.
Arsenal is playing either Blackpool or
That's it.
Solihull Moors.
Yeah.
That's the one I was like, who the fuck are they?
Yeah. They're not in the football league.
Yeah, and of course Arsenal probably going to end up getting them and losing. No, if it was Wenger, they'd lose, but they'll win convincingly.
They love him.
Folks, I'm going to have this week to say something about high school football.
Yeah.
And next week, because it is state championship week, and the Tarboro Vikings have overcome every doubt in the world.
Every minor speed bump.
Yes, by minor, that means their closest win this year is 35-14 against Southwest Edge.
Yeah.
So other than that, Tarboro is playing for another state championship this week. Would be the 5th in the Craddock era if they win it.
Did they win last year?
Yes.
So that
they beat Cherry. Oh, last year they just decimated everybody as well.
No. Okay, you're right.
They won 3 straight.
They won 3
They
straight.
went to 5 straight.
Yeah.
They lost the first one, won
Yeah.
3, lost the next one. They won last year. If they win this year,
Right.
they're playing East Surrey. If they win this year, that'll be 5 in 7 trips in 10 years, I think. 9 years. 10 years.
First one was in
10 years.
09.
Right.
So it'd be 10 years.
10 years
5 and 10 years across 2 divisions.
with 7 trips.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
So, no, 5, 6, 7 trips.
Yeah, 7 trips.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, they're pretty good at football there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing that.
Yeah. Hey, Todd Gurley, we still love you.
Yeah.
You're the only reason we even care the NFL
That's
exists.
true. Hopefully he makes the Super Bowl this year. They have a pretty good chance. I'd probably actually watch the Super Bowl if they made it.
I will guarantee that. Hey, you know what? We'll look at our schedules.
Yeah.
If the Los Angeles Rams
There
are
you
in
go.
the Super Bowl, we will get together and watch the
There
Super
you
Bowl.
go. Plans have been made.
Even though I think I'm working. But if I'm not,
There you go.
oh well. Plans are made if everything works out.
Yes.
And the Rams are there. Anyone else,
No, we don't.
whatever. I will literally watch Netflix.
Doesn't matter. So going from there, that is going to do it for episode 240. So for McCall and Crime, Wes Bradshaw, I'm Edward Green. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Foreign Affair podcast. And until next time, everyone stay safe and enjoy the football.
Good night, Naples. Appreciate the cronyism, the mafia, and Thursday night football.
And your pastas. Your pastas are delicious.
Delicious.
Pizza pasta force.
A pizza pie. We are not racist at all.
No.
Pizza pie.
It's okay. We're just stereotypical. We're not racist.
That's it. Stereotype.
This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to NGSCsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.